Like, if there is a book that deserves the world, it is Lemon Trees, and there is an author that deserves the world, it is Zoulfa. The day is finally here. My Fairyloot has finally arrived. I think we all know what this is. This is the Fairyloot edition of As Long as Lemon Trees Grow. Now, if you didn't know, As Long as Lemon Trees Grow is one of my favorite books of all time. I never stop talking about it. I certainly don't have multiple covers of it. This book is insanely special to me, and when I heard we were getting Fairyloot edition, I was over the moon, freaking out. I'm like, how am I gonna be able to secure one? I had originally was gonna have one of my friends help me out, and because they have a Fairyloot subscription, they were gonna buy it and then send it to me or something. But then literally, I think I was on a cruise ship about to set sail, and I saw that Fairyloot had them in their fairy trove, I think that's what it's called, general stock, anyone can buy them, and I rushed to secure one as this boat is setting sail from the mainland, and I secured it, and here it is, and let's open it. I'm also gonna take this opportunity to talk about Lemon Trees and my love and history with it, but first let's look at this edition, because you're excited, I'm excited. Okay, we got it open. I'm so excited. Moving the packing peanuts out of the way, we have a card. It just says thank you for ordering from Fairyloot, and it's purple and it's cute. I'm gonna dig this out. I'm just gonna drop some packing peanuts. Okay. Drop that on the floor, that's not important. I'm so excited. This is my first time ever ordering a Fairyloot edition. Myself, not buying secondhand. So it means a lot. Okay. Wow. This stunning. I'm just being very gentle even when I'm holding it. This is so precious to me. Look at those edges. Look at the edges. She's so pretty. She's so pretty. I'm just taking a minute to take it all in. She's gorgeous. She's gorgeous, and I love her. We should go through the details of this edition. I'm literally okay. If I start crying, oh, she's so beautiful. She's so beautiful. You guys, there. Look at her. Look at her. Why am I actually getting emotional? This isn't even faked. This is real. She's so pretty. She's so pretty. Okay, we're gonna keep going before I start crying. Look at my babies. I'm actually about to start shedding tears. Zoulfa, signed copy. Now I have 3 signed copies of Lemon Trees by Zoulfa. We'll get into those. We'll go through my Lemon Trees collection in a bit. She's so beautiful. On the back we have Layla and Khwab. I don't even want to disrupt. I can't get over these edges. Can we have a moment? It's a little smaller than a regular size hardcover, just for some it's about the size of, a little bit bigger than maybe a UK. It's about the size of a UK book, actually, because those run a little smaller, but not as big as US hardcover is a little bigger than it. But I don't even have words. She's stunning, and the thing is, not even it's not even that. It's just such a beautiful edition. This book is so special to me. This book means so much to me, and I am so proud. I'm so proud that it got this beautiful edition, and it's so deserved. If there is a book that deserves the world, it is Lemon Trees, and there's an author that deserves the world, it is Zoulfa. I'm so happy. That's it. That's the video. I was gonna tell you my Lemon Trees history and stuff, but that's it. That's the video. I should, right? I don't know if I'm gonna be able to put this one down, guys. I have to pry it from my cold, dead hands. So let me tell you a little about Lemon Trees. So first you have to To understand my lemon tree's history, you have to understand that me and Zoulfa became friends before I read her book. Me and Zoulfa became friends a bit ago. I don't even know time-wise how long ago, but we became friends first over the fact that we were both BTS ARMY. And at one point, I don't even know how it happened. Like, we just started, I think I followed her because I'd heard about the book, and I tend to follow like up and coming Muslim authors, I guess. And we just started messaging, and that turned into texting, and that turned into a group chat, me, her, and Malek. So we were pretty like close already when arcs of her book started becoming available. So we were really good friends before I read her book. And then I remember when I read Lemon Trees for the first time. I read New York? No, I read it on a physical arc, which I actually have back here. Let me see. Guess I'm putting this down so I can grab it. My very first copy of Lemon Trees. See, I tabbed it. This one is signed, I'm pretty sure. Yes, it's signed to Besma, I purple you, Zoulfa. We'll get to that in a second, how I got it signed, because Zoulfa does not live in the US. So I read it in March 2020, no, I think in April 2022. And I don't know if people still know this because it's been a while. So April 2022 was arguably the worst month of my life. It was the month I lost my cat Apollo. If people have been following my page since the beginning, when I first started my page, I had a kitten named Apollo. On his second birthday, March 2022, he was diagnosed with kidney failure, and he was treated for a month before he passed. And we're not gonna get into it, but like, I was going through the worst time of my life when I decided to pick this book up. And weirdly enough, it brought me comfort, and it wasn't expected. I went into Lemon Trees knowing I would cry, knowing I would be devastated, knowing all these things. And I went in as already a kind of broken person. Like during, it's so hard to talk about, even like a year and some later. I read this book as a shell of myself. I was not fully myself at the time due to the grief and despair I was experiencing while trying to treat my dying cat and failing to treat my dying cat. So I was going into it already struggling and knowing it was going to be a hard read, and yet it brought me comfort. It was a devastating book. I cried my eyes out, but one of my biggest takeaways from Lemon Trees is, despite, and for the record, my situation pales in comparison to what people in Syria in this book are experiencing, but I still was able to take something away from it, something to relate to in a sense. But my main takeaway was that in the midst of everything going on, there was still joy, there was still hope, and that never goes away. Anyway, I loved this book, and like I said, I remember me, Zoulfa, and Azanta had a group chat called Lemon Trees Tears, where we were going to provide her our up-to-date reactions. And I think at one point Azanta, was it, that submitted, like, sent a picture of a page just stained with her tears, which is accurate. So I read this book, and I actually didn't finish it until I was at the airport about to board my plane to go to Switzerland. I had booked a trip to Switzerland with my family, just for like vacation, and turns out the city in Switzerland we were going to stay in is where Zoulfa lives. I had like texted Zoulfa beforehand. We'd set it up that I was gonna try to get coffee with her or something, but I knew I was gonna meet up with Zoulfa, so I took the book with me, and that's actually how I got it signed. And I finished this book in the airport waiting for my flight, and you know anything about this like last part of this book, or the last couple parts, chapter 29, cried my eyes out in the airport. The core memory for sure. Then I go to Switzerland, and I find out in Switzerland that the family friends we have in Switzerland know Zoulfa's family. Super close friends with Zoulfa's family. So instead of seeing Zoulfa once, like I had planned to, like a quick coffee in the bookstore or something, I end up spending like 4 or 5 days with Zoulfa in Switzerland, just because the families knew each other. So I get to see Zoulfa on the very first day I'm in Switzerland. We go to a waterfall together. She signs my book. I think she can correct me on this. I think she said I was like the first signing, like the first reader's book she signed was me. little brag. We end up going to waterfall. We end up going to dinner together. We get lost in, were we in Germany or Switzerland? We went to go get dinner at a Syrian restaurant in Germany, but we got lost at some point, so I don't know which part of, I fell asleep because I was jet lagged in the car. Anyway, fun experiences. We ended up spending multiple days together, and she gives me the UK ARC edition, which is a little different. It has like a little peekaboo, has a different cover. Would you call this a peekaboo? I don't know what this is called. Has this little it has this thing on the front. I don't know what this is called. Outline. Has a different cover. This one is signed to Besma. Thank you for visiting me. We met on the internet and today we made cheese. Because this day we went to a cheese factory in the Swiss, what was it, Bern? I think it was towards Bern, Switzerland. We went to a cheese factory and learned how to make cheese. It was a very interesting experience. At one point it smelled and tasted terrible, but it was fun. And we did like a little tour, and I think we also climbed a castle. Fun fact, we also got lost that day. So we split up into two cars, and I was in Zoulfa's car with my sister and Zoulfa's sister, and I was supposed to be the navigator, but Google Maps in Switzerland, I don't know if it was just me or like that's how Google Maps is in Switzerland, but it was like glitching. Like it tells us to take a road, and then once you get up there, it like changes what road you're supposed to take. We got lost and stuck in traffic, and it was interesting. We ended up like an hour and a half late for dinner. It was very entertaining. But yeah, getting to meet Zoulfa was incredible after being friends with her for a bit. Went to like bookstores together, we toured the city together, and I remember we're going to the spot in Zurich where they filmed one of the scenes of Crash Landing on You. I think it's like the opening sequence where like they're walking, and we stop on the side of the road because the BTS Proof album tracklist comes out, and we're like stopped on the side of the road like reading and like screaming over it, and then we could like go take pictures of this place. Core memories. It was incredible meeting her. You know, a year and some later, it's still some of my favorite memories were meeting Zoulfa in Switzerland. So that's a little bit of my history with her. And then I don't know how well known this history is, but I'm gathering what editions I own. So obviously when I love a book, I champion it to no end, especially for Arab and Muslim authors. So I'm obviously putting in the work, talking about Lemon Trees nonstop, hopefully getting people to read it as they should, because it's an incredible book and I don't want people to miss it. And I run into a frustration that I noticed that the US publisher of Lemon Trees, the novel, is not marketing this book enough. And now, if the novel was a publisher that just didn't do a great job of marketing overall, I wouldn't have had as much of an issue with it. However, the novel is really well known for how they market out of context quotes for Holly Black, for Jennifer Lynn Barnes, for Adeline Grace. So they have something going on, right? Their out of context tweets tend to do well. They're good, and I like all those books I just listed, all those authors I just listed. I love their books, and I love those tweets. So, in my head, when I'm going and I'm noticing that there's nothing for Lemon Trees, nothing actually for a lot of their lesser known authors. So I start talking about Lemon Trees, and I start talking about how the novel is neglecting it as a publisher and not marketing it enough and not doing enough. And I understand that I maybe am not the most knowledgeable person in the publishing industry. I get that. Never claimed to be. I'm talking as a consumer, as somebody who at that point had been on the book side of the internet for about 2 years. If a book is not being talked about by like influencers or the companies, the chances of people happening to hear about it and picking it up are lower. You need people talking about your book. That's what marketing is for. That's how you market a product. I started calling the novel out. They dropped a couple of tweets. I knew they had seen my stuff. Pretty sure I'm blacklisted from the novel because I'd never received anything from them since, or even when they sent out Lemon Trees packages. By the way, completely fine. I'm not even stressed about it. And I did the same thing for Next New Syrian Girl, because one thing about me, if you're going to neglect marginalized authors, especially Muslim authors, I'm going to call you out on it. Because, like, what do you mean? Do better. So, kind of just want to give, like, my history with Lemon Trees, how much these characters mean to me, how much I love them. You know, we've read it for Buttercup Book Club. I got to interview Zoulfa a couple times for different things. I think I interviewed her once for Book Talk. Quite literally got into a bit of an internet spat. Also, I think I got to call out, like, what's the convention in UK called? I forget. For not inviting Zoulfa. But you know what? Lemon Trees is that book and Zoulfa is that author, and it's worth it every time. Yeah, I just wanted to show off my Fairyloot edition and talk to you a little bit about my history of Lemon Trees and how much I love it. And at this point, if you haven't picked up Lemon Trees, and I'll put trigger warnings by the way, because it is a pretty heavy book. If you're able to read Lemon Trees and you haven't yet, please pick it up. I promise you won't regret it. You'll just be reading one of the best books you'll ever read. Probably. Guaranteed. And yeah, that's my video. I'll see you next time. Bye!